Hey people, how you been? As promised, you're back with Bunky. Apologies to anybody who's on headphones right now. You're not being indoctrinated. There is a slight hum, possibly to the background of this commentary. It's because at this point, my laptop's battery is just fucked. It's completely dead. It needs to be plugged in all the time. That causes a hum when I'm recording audio, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about that, guys. Hopefully somebody loves me enough next week to get me a new battery for my birthday. But let's finally have a look at the Vorcha Hunter, which I promised you all a guide for today. Alright then, okay, Submission Net is his main power here. I'm going to recommend you build it exactly the same as I do for the Batarian Sentinel and get the damage and slow, and then go with the electric field. Okay guys, electric field is honestly the best feature of Submission Net. This gives you some nice crowd control with the power, as it causes the net to do air of effect damage by sapping any nearby enemies. The damage is strictly over time, so don't expect it. Don't expect to see enemies dropping like flies from it. But it will frequently stun them. Okay, so that's why it's giving you some great crowd control, and this works regardless of whether you actually catch anything with the net as well. Okay, you can have this thing can be decorating the wall, and it'll still shock passers-by. And on a side note to not having a target with this power, okay, you can actually use it as a trap. If the enemy walk or stumble into it while it's on the wall or on the floor, it'll actually pop up and catch them for the remainder of its duration. In fact, that might actually be your best tactic with it when you're against phantoms, okay, as I'll explain the problems you have with her later. However, if you do catch something with it and they die, the electric field will actually still work off the corpse. I think the only time the field doesn't trigger is if you net an armored target. Yeah, but which, you're still going to be able to slow them down and do a fair bit of damage to them thanks to those first two evolutions. A major advantage which this power has over similar powers like stasis. And you will always do the full damage with it too, okay guys? Even though you can only have one net on the field at a time, if you did at any point catch something, it's going to take all the damage Submission Net can do, okay? The visual effect will disappear and your enemy may even start moving again, but there will still be damage over time, okay? In fact, your second net can actually go back onto the same enemy and you can stack the dot for the rest of the duration, effectively doubling it. Okay, so there's some cool things you can do with electrical field and Submission Net. Now for Incinerate, I highly recommend that you just go with damage, burning damage, and most importantly armor damage. Okay, so we are going to just be doing some hurt with Incinerate. For Bloodlust, okay, this is going to be about health regeneration, of course, so make sure you got that for your first evolution. But for the fifth evolution, you can go with weapon damage. There's nothing wrong with that, there really isn't. This is going to be a particularly weapon-focused build, actually. But I like to go with power damage on this build. I really do. I'll explain why later. And then for your sixth evolution, get health regeneration again. Okay, guys, it's going to give you some mighty health regeneration. Okay guys, it's right there on screen for you. Now for Vorcha Resilience, I like to just get the weapon damage here and then get some power damage. You can take headshots again if you want, but again, I'll explain later why you want to sort of stack up on these power damage bonuses where you can. Of course, you still want to be doing some decent weapon damage. And then you can just put 3 ranks into your fitness, okay guys? It's going to give you 975 health, and that's going to regenerate real quick for you with Bloodlust on, alright? Yeah, 325 shields, but just get used to seeing that blood screen, okay guys? That's what Vorchas practically live in. Now for the weapon that I'm going to be using on this guy, I'm going to be slapping on the Collector Sniper Rifle. Okay, this is actually going to work so well on this guy. You will see this all later, guys. Just stick on the extended barrel on this one. Okay, you don't want the high velocity barrel. This gun is DLC. It came with retaliation, so it will get heavier with those added weight mods. So just put on the normal extended barrel for your 25% damage increase, and then get the piercing mod. Okay, guys. And that's your weapon choices. For your equipment, incendiary rounds. Okay guys, get incendiary rounds on this build. The highest ones you got, I highly recommend you get on your 4s or your 3s. For your armor bonus, again, I'm going to recommend you get the power damage. Okay, slap on a power amplifier. A nice good one here too as well. Get your 3s and 4s on again. For your gear bonus, good opportunity to rock the operative package again, okay guys. There's going to be some tech damage and sniper rifle damage increases for you there with that gear, and of course your weapon bonus should be a sniper rifle rail amp. That's got this build ready to go. Let's explain how it works in the gameplay. Alright then, here we go. I've set up a Geth on Reactor game because honestly I forgot that I did that recently, quote unquote. I realise now that that was actually the setup for the Krogan Sentinel video, but that was uploaded over 3 months ago now, so that somehow works out in my defence. As I said in the video before, I took some time off to finally play Mass Effect 3's single player DLC, which was good. I mean, if you haven't played them for yourself yet, I recommend them all, I really do, especially Citadel. That one really is fantastic. If you've played through the trilogy, you owe it to yourself to play that one. I mean, fuck the extended cut. That is the send-off the characters we know and love needed. It was actually on the very day I finished Citadel that I actually got 720 subscribers too, so that was a damn good day. I really want to thank all of you who helped me reach that. I'm gaming with some of the guys who made it possible now. I've got a Manny 1222 and N7 Heartless rolling out with a couple of Harrier Ghosts, and Lawless Ferret's going to be breaking light bulbs with the Brawler. And as a man of my word, I'm here with the Vorcha Hunter. Now, for the longest time I have said continuously I couldn't be bothered with this kit because it's pretty redundant. If you've been paying attention, it should be easy to see how you can package this guy like the Batarian Sentinel and just have tech bursts flying off everything for a simple submission net and incinerate combo. You know, with some shooting in between, and then you've got yourself some nice damage there on the field. You wouldn't even need to change this build to do that, okay? I mean, you might want the weapon damage Evo and Bloodlust even more so with that setup, but I'd probably just recommend a lighter gun so that, you know, your powers can fly out faster. Just check out my Batarian Sentinel video again for your weapon choices. See, now the only issue I have with that, besides redundancy, is how submission it actually works. Because unlike its biotic counterpart Stasis, Submissionet is a projectile, which travels at a medium speed without the best tracking, and, you know, it also takes like a full second to launch, so enemies can avoid it pretty easily. It helps significantly to be close to the enemy so you can catch them. See, the smaller the distance, the shorter the travel time for the projectile, which gives the enemy less time to react to it. You know, and since the Batarian's a tank, he can afford to be in close quarters a lot of the time. However, the Vorcha, he just has great survivability, okay? If you're able to avoid damage for a spell, he'll be fighting fit in a moment. But if he sustains a lot of damage very quickly, he hits the dirt as fast as anyone else. Okay? And I say that, mind you, the truth is Submissionnet's effectiveness is wonky at best, okay? Despite the medium range I'm working for most of this game, this video is actually an example of Submissionet working really well. I'm going to catch most of the enemies I cast my net at. What I strongly recommend when casting is not aiming directly at your target. See, Submissionet is capable of arcing over cover or around corners at your enemies. So, you know, if you curve your shot by angling it slightly off-center, you can trick the enemy into evading too soon and then catch them on their recovery. And even when you're dealing with the likes of Geth Hunters, if you hit them with the incendiary ammo first, you'll set them on fire and reveal your target for you to cast at. You'll see me doing a lot. You'll see me doing that a lot throughout this gameplay, and it also works for Phantoms too. To be honest, though, you've got a whole different set of problems to worry about when you're dealing with her. Pro tips aside, however, I've also had multiple games with Submissionet where it is less than fucking useless, okay? Where the power seems almost determined not to come in contact with anything but the map. Literally veering away from the enemy I have standing directly in front of me to place spiderweb on the wall to my right or something. And this is even when I'm lagging, okay guys? I am hosting in both of these scenarios I'm pitching to you here. There's little you can do about that though, okay? It's up to the powers that be whether or not your game with Submissionet is going to be a good one. I can only recommend that you get in close or cast when the enemy is distracted. A tactic which is almost mandatory when dealing with Phantoms. And just don't get me started. Too late, because at range she'll put up a barrier and block it, while in close quarters she'll flip you off or ignore it. Your best hope is to get in close and trigger a melee attack, which you can catch her off in. But I'll warn you right now, if you have the unfortunate duty of hosting a Cerberus match, be prepared to put up with a lot of shit. Okay? Because while hosting, a phantom can basically do whatever the fuck she likes with you. You can cast your net, get her to put up a barrier and shoot at her, but if that shot doesn't instantly kill her, she'll just flip away and reduce that damage to nothing. If you're getting close, trigger a melee and then cast your net, you can get lucky. Otherwise, if she doesn't just flat out ignore it, she'll perform a little flip sometime after the fact she's been hit, which somehow counts as an evasive maneuver, flashing a gas at you as if to say, go fuck yourself. Ooh, phantoms. Her ability to ignore the effects of the net are as frustrating as they are random. Okay, I've even used the Vorcha's heavy melee to stagger her, which if she doesn't cancel out with her own, which she usually will when you're at that range with her, because literally any part of her melee animation annoyingly seems to count as a hit. That includes the little flourish at the start where her guard is down and her back is up. You know, she is still able to somehow flip away or ignore the net afterwards. It's quite ridiculous. But despite this bullshit, though, catching an enemy while it's performing another action is your best bet. Of course, catching an enemy who's mid-attack or coming in out of cover is easier if you're close, and that way there's not much time for them to sort of finish that action and then react to yours. Unfortunately, there isn't enough health regen to match the Bwnci's durability, though, so it's simply not practical most of the time to stick to close quarters with the Vorcha. However, what you do lose in shields and armour, you do get in damage and manoeuvrability. What you can easily afford to do is stay in mid-range, quickly ducking in and out of soft cover to deliver good damage. Of course, to get the best damage, you do want your offensive powers maxed out, though, which seriously limits what you can do in terms of health. Some of you may be more comfortable with only 5 ranks of Bloodlust, so you can have 4 ranks of fitness. But I gotta recommend that you suck it up and just learn to work with the first 3 ranks, okay? If you stay sharp and react quickly, you can survive more situations with the greater health regeneration. With just 975 health, you can regenerate up to 290 every second, bringing you back up to full health in just 4 seconds. With 1125 health, you can regenerate a maximum of 140 every second, which would mean it would take you up to 9 seconds to reach full health again. What this means is that within 4 seconds, a build with 3 ranks of fitness will have gained 975 health, whereas a build with 4 ranks will only have 560. Not only is that under the build with 3 ranks, but that's under half health for the build that has 4. And this is what matters really, okay guys, because even with the extra health you start with, enemies on gold require about the same amount of hits on you to kill both builds, and on platinum you might get 1 extra hit at the very most with the extra fitness. Yeah, so, you know, the trick with the Vorcha is to just stay agile, okay? Stay agile, and if the situation is dangerous, just get out and find a new angle. The only thing you're tanking is dot effects, and you need health regen to do that, okay? Now, if you don't follow those numbers, it's probably because you don't understand how Bloodlust actually works. But I'll explain, because it's just like this. Granted you have at least the first 3 ranks of the power. When you activate it, you'll have a 5% movement speed increase, a 10% melee damage bonus, and regen 65 health per second. Or, you know, at least I think it's seconds. Oh, and of course you've got the whole 60% power use slowdown. Now, as soon as you kill an enemy, you gain a stack, and you can kill the enemy in whatever way you see fit, okay? The bonuses of the stack will last for 15 seconds, unless you score another kill within that time to reset the counter. Another kill will also add another stack, and you can get a maximum of 3. However, if you don't get a kill within 15 seconds, you will lose all your accumulated bonuses. You don't revert back to 2 stacks or 1 stack, they all go, okay? So the aim of the game is to just keep killing, okay? Basically, you need a kill every 15 seconds to retain the full effect of Bloodlust. This unfortunately means your bonuses will revert to their base value at the start of each wave, so be mindful of that. However, in saying that, it is not until you look past the first 3 ranks of Bloodlust that you actually get stack bonuses. What you should notice at ranks 4, 5 and 6 is that the bonuses are stated to be for each stack, okay, as opposed to being in general. Save for movement and melee evolutions, that is, but you know, you don't want that anyway. So, where health regeneration at rank 4 gets you 90 health per second with 1 stack, 115 with 2 stacks, and 140 with 3, having health regeneration at both rank 4 and 6 gets you 140 health per second with just 1 stack, then you've got 215 at 2 and 290 at 3. Oh, Jesus, look at those Geth troopers. bombing us with missiles before they've even spawned. Cheating bastards. And this is because you have a 30% added to the 50 base health regeneration at rank 3, and a total of 150% added with each stack through rank 4 and 6. Or to put it another way, you get a 180% bonus with the first stack, a 330 with the second, and a mighty 480 with the third. So yeah. The thing most people question, though, is what all the roaring signifies, okay? It seems random in nature, which does put people on edge, because the animation can actually endanger you. If it's not interrupting your attack or throwing off your shot, it's actually taking you out of cover. Fortunately, though, if you have a fully automatic weapon, you can keep shooting, and, if you don't, you can actually take advantage of the massive movement speed bonus you get in that second to sort of slip out of danger. Seriously, one evasive maneuver covers a serious amount of ground in that instant. However, what you need to understand is that it is not completely random. The raw sound effect and the raw animation are actually not tied to each other, and with each stack you only run the chance of triggering the sound effect. The chance is greater the higher you go. With the first stack you get a 5% chance, with the second you get a 20%, and with the third you have a 50% chance. It is only when you max your stacks that the animation plays, and it won't play unless you lost them earlier. You can keep refreshing the timer without interruption as much as you like. Aside from that, the only disadvantage you have with Bloodlust is the overconfidence it may give you. I mean, the health regeneration is incredible. Unlike with your shields, there's no delay in the regeneration, and it's not halted by anything. But it's only as long... Sorry, this is, because it's, there's no delay and it's not halted by anything, this is why you can afford to sort of take incredible amounts of sustained damage, but only as long as it's slow and gradual, okay? So you can eat those nasty swarmers and Bwnci balls for the team, but you got to take cover and allow Bloodlust the time to heal you when the damage out there is excessive. But now that you know, but now that you hopefully know or understand how Bloodlust works, I can better explain why I choose power damage at rank 5, okay? Because even though this is clearly more of a weapons build with submission net than my Batarian is, this is again because the Vorcha is capable of more damage, particularly to boss enemies, because he has Incinerate instead of Shockwave. On its own, Incinerate is capable of doing some decent damage to armor targets. There's enough done on contact and even more so over time to make an impact. But between the 1.5 multiplier to armor and the final evolution, armor damage, that boosts all damage it does again by another 50%, you can easily make really short work of boss targets. And the more damage you put behind that evolution, the more that gets multiplied. And trust me when I say it can be utterly ridiculous. Okay, it can be utterly ridiculous. More than you can ever hope to achieve than with just a good gun on this character, okay? And with this loadout, you should be making short work of the trash mobs, easily netting you a 50% power damage bonus with Bloodlust, so that the damage you're doing with Incinerate is already stacking up. Secondly, because you're only working with the likes of Bloodlust and submission net otherwise, you can take damage for the 4th rank of Incinerate for another 30% bonus, okay? Now, I've had this debate with people in the past. It's really not worth taking Radius unless your focus is power combos. If you're just trying to do damage with Incinerate, that's exactly what you should spec for. Because with attacks like arc grenades, lift grenades, and snap freeze, you can affect multiple targets with one cast. And, if you do the same with Incinerate, you can maintain like a hefty string of widespread damage. And, you're also going to get a power combo with almost every group of enemies, guaranteed. However, with something like Submission Net, the only widespread damage would be the tech burst, something you can only produce off a single target, and a static one at that, okay? The only role Radius would play in that situation is putting out less damage. I mean, Radius does help you hit an evasive target, but that's only if he's right next to an enemy you did manage to hit, and obviously hitting 2 targets offers better crowd control than 1, but you know what else offers better crowd control? Your other power, guys, in like every situation where you have Incinerate. The only benefit that is that you can prime 2 fire explosions that perhaps like a teammate could detonate. But unless you have a real team, I wouldn't put the faith in people, okay? Especially since it means you yourself are weaker for it. This has been Bwnci, crushing team spirit in a cooperative multiplayer game since 2013. You don't want to help me, and I don't want to help you. Seriously though, guys, stack up on those power damage bonuses, okay? Because those flames will feed your firepower, and you will get a serious weapon damage bonus where it counts. This is, of course, because I recommend incendiary ammo. Okay, guys? As I explained in the Krogan Sentinel video, incendiary rounds will gobble up all the damage and perks of Incinerate and add them to its own, allowing you to do stupid damage in a very short space of time with the right combination. And the Collector Sniper Rifle and Incinerate are right for damage, okay? The DPS of the Collector Sniper is incredible on somebody with next to no weapon bonuses, but surprisingly the Vorcha do in fact have better weapon damage than the Batarians, with those guys actually excelling in power damage instead. Honestly, I would have thought it'd been the other way around, with, you know, the Batarians being barbarians and the Vorcha being natural fucking disasters, but, you know, there you go. The Collector Sniper Rifle is capable of such incredible DPS because it matches the Particle Rifle in fire rate and accuracy, and comes pretty damn close in terms of damage too. And the Particle Rifle, if you're not aware, out DPS is the Cerberus Harrier, or the Carrier, if you need me to paint you a picture. The big difference between the two guns, however, is that the Collector Sniper doesn't need a charge-up time to do maximum damage. It's instantaneous. It's only balanced by having an incredibly small clip, which somewhat simulates the feel of a more traditional sniper rifle because it limits the user to quick bursts of fierce damage. And that is really what I have to recommend with the Collector Sniper, guys, okay? The small clip size, coupled with that high rate of fire, make it all too easy to burn through that clip entirely, which forces a painfully long cooldown animation on you. I mean, if you've got it at level 1 and you're looking at your magazine size of 35 and thinking, well, it's got to get a lot better than this, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't. I think... yeah, at level 10 you score just that, 10 more units. You will always have to carefully manage the Collector Sniper Rifle. Now, you might have noticed there, that's the dot I'm going to be explaining in a moment on the Prime there. It's pretty high with these two guns, with this power and this gun, okay? But where was I? Oh yeah. Yeah, you're going to have to be careful managing the Collector Sniper Rifle. I mean, if it isn't apparent already, I'll tell you now. It's a gun with a recharging ammo system, so it has no reserve ammo, meaning the spare thermal clip mod or any spare thermal clip gear is not going to give you the opportunity to shoot any longer, okay, guys? And plus, this is a power class, okay? You don't want to bog yourself down with another weapon. Another thing the Collector Sniper and the Particle Rifle have in common is weight. I mean, it's a nice tactic to fire those guns until they're nearly depleted and then switch to another weapon to finish the job, because, you know, the guns will recharge when they're not in use. But I would reserve such a loadout for your infiltrators or your soldiers, okay? Especially since someone like the Destroyer can actually increase the clip size for you. Oh, this is going to be a sad moment now. I'm going to get my first death because that combat drone's actually going to fire and incinerate through that bit of wall, or its cylinder thing. Geth. Now, what you need to learn to do instead with the Collector Sniper Rifle, okay, guys, is get about 2 or 3 bursts out of the clip. You can do that by just sort of clicking for 1 or 2 seconds apiece, or you can even just tap in out by simply pulling the trigger rapidly. This will give you more time to judge when to stop, so you know the mag can actually refill itself. You know, and this is actually especially important, actually, now I remember, because if you hold down the trigger and sustain fire, the gun will actually start using up 2 ammo units per shot, and essentially half the amount of ammo you have in the clip already. So yeah, and I tell you what, guys, also you've also got to put up with some shit if you're using a drill. See, there's this glitch that for some reason has the guns with infinite ammo drop your perspective to your belly when you fire them. I don't know, I guess while talking to the spirits, the drill got haunted by Volus. I don't know why that glitch happens, but that's something I discovered while trying to do a Thunderdome solo with Lancer. Watch out for that, guys. It appears to just be Drell as far as I'm aware. Honestly though, the best thing you can do with the CSR is equip incendiary ammo, okay? You may not fire for long, but this gun will stack the damage so high during that time it won't matter, okay? Sniper rifles in general apply ammo effects really well, but when you're knocking out about 13 rounds a second at about 90 points a pop as well, incendiary stock really piles up and finishes off anything you didn't. Okay? And that's why there's nothing wrong in getting weapon damage with Bloodlust, okay, guys? But just be sure you're aware that weapon damage bonuses don't increase the damage your ammo does. because you will shred through armor once you apply the perks of Incinerate to those incendiary rounds. Sorry, I got a bit distracted there. That was upsetting. I really thought my teammate was next to me, but that was in fact a hunter. In fact, no, there he is. I wasn't completely wrong. Oh yeah, cloaks everywhere, cloaks everywhere. But no, yeah, and another thing as well, aside from just tearing down the armor, with a gun like the Collector Sniper Rifle, you will be tearing down those shields in seconds, which undoubtedly means you'll score some fire explosions in the process. You won't even need to be as vicious with the mooks as well. Just tie them down and take them out. If they can somehow survive a blast from the sniper, you can always throw in Incinerate for a tech burst. But, you know, I wouldn't hold off for it. I really wouldn't, guys. Because, as you can see, you can take a nice small weapon-focused route with the Vorcha, leaving the power combo play for the Batarian. I mean, he's a tank with Shockwave. He's meant to be blowing shit up. It's a lot more difficult for the enemy to avoid what he's doing. However, the Vorcha can find strength in some necessary hit-and-run tactics. And with a gun like the Collector Sniper, you're going to do great damage at range. Yeah, it's a sniper with limited range because you can only reach as far as the beam goes, but you don't want to be too far from your targets because you are using submission net. You just want to play a safe distance. With the CSR, you can snipe the heads off anything you can net and stack the incendiary rounds real high on your armoured targets. Of course, the Collector Sniper Rifle isn't your only choice, okay, guys? I mean, the Valiant, the Keyshock, and the Indra are some other great sniper choices. You can even use the Raptor, the Mantis, or the Incisor, effectively, if you don't have anything rarer. A lot of the pistols as well, they compete really well with the snipers, and because of their low weight, that brings you back into power combo territory. So, you know, you can use the Paladin, the Executioner pistol, the Arc pistol, the Suppressor, all the Carnifex, and of course, you know, the Talon works, okay? And you've got plenty of range with most of your assault rifles too. Despite the charge-up time, the particle rifle will naturally work, okay? Don't forget you got the electric field of submission net, providing some nice crowd control so you can get the damage done. Otherwise, you know, you got the Harrier, the Lancer, the Saber. I mean, that thing's basically a sniper rifle anyway, if a bit clunky. The Valkyrie, because that's got a nice headshot multiplier, and, you know, they're going to be netted. There's an easy headshot there. And you got the Mattock or the Collector Rifle. You know, they're not too bad if that's all you got. Now, you have to get in closer with your SMGs and your shotguns, but these are also some of the weapons that will stack the incendiary rounds the highest for you, okay? And the weight of some of these that I'm going to recommend for you now are just going to allow you to get plenty of tech bursts off for some great counter control and healing time. So, you know, go with like the Hurricane, the Tempest, the Wraith, the Geth Plasma Shotgun, the Growl, and bloody hell, the Riga Carbine. Lawless isn't catching on to the extraction strategy here, so I'm going to have to verbally reel him in. But no, yeah, seriously, guys, if you're not buying into this whole Incinerate and Incendiary round strategy, do it with the Riga and see exactly what I mean, okay, guys? Obviously, though, your ammo bonus should be incendiary rounds. Otherwise, with something like the Collector Sniper Rifle, Disruptor would be great too for tech burst. And there may be something there with cryo rounds and freeze combo. However, if it's not incendiary or Disruptor, I recommend weapon damage with armor piercing or warp, okay? And I like to go with the power amplifier for obvious reasons as well, but if you are struggling to stay alive, you can use a cyclonic or or shield power cells. Cyclonic for you slow arses, shield power cells for those who could just use a little boost, okay? Because having your shields regenerating as fast like your health is honestly better than buffing those pathetic shields, okay, guys? It won't be a big increase with like a cyclonic 4. Obviously, if you just need to get things done faster, use a power efficiency or an adrenaline module, okay, guys? They'll work too, and you can take the same approach health-wise with your gear, but ultimately I recommend the operative package, the omni capacitors, engineering kit, mental focuser, or even the structural ergonomics for, you know, power damage or power recharge speed, or you can just take some kind of weapon bonus. But yeah, we're wrapping up here, everyone's going to go home. But that's all I can say on this character, really. I think it's been a fair bit considering. Once again, I want to thank you all for your support. Those that have shared my videos, those that have subscribed, all of you who rate and comment, and thank you even for just watching this far, okay? I hope you stick around. It really helps me out. Seriously, I see all of your support, guys. I've seen it all, and I love you long time. Sorry this took so long. It was hard completing my single-player playthrough on account of some on account of some gaming fights and other notification spam covering up my dialogue choices. Please don't do that, guys. I'd love to play with you all, and when given the chance, I will. But, you know, being invited to play something other than what I'm currently playing is a real pet peeve of mine on Xbox Live, okay, guys? Also, dialogue-heavy games don't play so well in parties, so please spare me that too. Aside from that, I've had to hold off on this comedy due to a whole bunch of sawing that's going on outside my window these past few days. However, man has conquered tree now, so here's the Vorcha Hunter Guide. Please comment, rate and subscribe. I'm out for now. Peace.